that's a bit better. That way. All right, welcome. I'm Moonlight. So today I'm just going to talk about the 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 haka, the deep haka within us, in terms of the sacred boundary of the identification of our own existence. Okay, the things that are sacred to us, the things that are connected to our heart, that are valuable, that are important, that we defend and that we protect. And that energy that rises within us in terms of the form of self-expression when those things are not treated as such. Okay, so the haka. The haka is more about defending and protecting that which is sacred to you. Okay. It's like a firewall of protection. Okay. Because, within the forms of creation, there are always invaders or people that want to seek to interfere, with those places within you, your expression of what's important to you. And so, because they have their own idea of what they think is important, you see. So the haka is about trusting those inner instincts that rise up within ourselves that say, I'm not going to be compromised on this standard or this principle or this belief or whatever it may be. I'm not going to compromise those parts of myself in order to fit into somebody else's interpretation of what it is that they believe that I should be, because they don't know how to understand me or interpret me, or I am something that is different to them. That doesn't mean you have to be indifferent to others. It just means that you need to understand the differences so that you can navigate where the boundaries are, and how we're different, and all those sorts of things, and how those boundaries play out. So there's different ways of looking. The haka may be interpreted, oh, it's intimidating, and is it a challenge? Is it a challenge for a fight? No, I believe it is more than that. It is a deeper connection to that which is that you seek to defend. Okay, this is the boundary. So if everyone got to own their boundary, well, war would cease to exist, wouldn't it? So that is the haka. That's the collective haka of this cosmic heart that we are, because we have those places and spaces within us of self-expression. Okay, I will tolerate things up until a point, but once you cross that point, then there is some action required on my part. Okay, and so that's called setting the boundary, so that I can find within myself the balancing point of my own peace and harmony within this internal environment of what feels safe, what feels supportive, what it is that I need within the interaction and the transaction of a relationship. Okay, because we only developed contracts because we forgot about the relationship of the soul agreement and the energetic laws and spiritual principles that govern that soul agreement, okay, of interaction of energies and interpretations and meanings that we give to things that belong to us, like our own experiences that we have for ourselves within this life that we are. Okay, so owning these sacred parts of ourselves, our spirit. Okay, yeah, thank you. Oh, so That's the intro, and this is called haka, and yeah. I just want to say before I start that the expression that I give is I feel the music and I feel the words, and so the melody may change at different times when I sing it. But the thing is, not the melody, but the tonations and things like that. So, yeah, I want to bring this as a gift to the people that are awakened, that know the deeper world of our spirit, that we are one within, the higher dream of that deeper vision. Um, of awareness that we have for one another and of the sacred boundary that belongs to all things, this living presence of life that is in all things. And so the haka is about reinforcing and resurfacing the hidden boundary line that has been submerged within all of us, the things that we suppress, the things that we carry because we didn't know how to set boundaries. Okay. And so part of our healing is understanding the purpose and the importance of the sacred boundary that we are for one another and within one another. Okay, within that cosmic heart. Okay, of love. Okay, because the greater love, the higher power always casts out fear, doesn't it? So fear, what you're doing here, you're sorry you have to go, and fear goes, oh, because we are in that higher vibration of love. Yeah, thank you. Down to earth with your fire, rhythm echo, all of man's desires, and the gods they tell you the same still. Heart is erupting like a volcano, mighty mountain, release this fountain of life force. Coming up, it's coming up from within. Yeah. In the life force again, come and flow through our veins. We are the lifeblood of earth. We are this rising again. Yes, we are the soul evolution. Yeah. The spiritual solution. We are the people, and don't you ever forget who we are. Fire, fire burning bright now. Come and set our hearts ablaze. Don't you know we need this fire to survive these crazy days? Oh, fire, fire burning brighter. Fire, fire, lead the way. Lead the way. I don't want to be no slave. I don't wanna live that way. Oh, this nation there, and it's a sacred flame. This fire's burning deep. We are the people. We are the people. We are the people, and don't you ever forget who we are. Yeah. So that's haka. Blessings, love, and light to everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, it's a declaration, and it's a movement that is within us. It happens within the deeper cosmic places of this mystical heart that we are. We share the journey together. We are reflections of one another. We're coming into a greater awareness of this oneness that we hold within the energetic world that is within us and between us. And the transformation of that world when we begin to understand with deeper wisdom the sacred boundary that belongs to us all, because that is where we unite within the higher dream of this deeper vision of who we are as one, as community, as the relationship of balance and trust that we so desire to see within our world, within ourselves, and within one another, the world of balance and trust. Because that world must be found within us. And we cannot find this world within us until we define the energetic boundaries of this existence and this interpretation of its identity. Okay. The boundary that belongs to us, to our lives, to our spiritual path, to the reflection of that expression, of that connection that we have to God, whatever that religion or practice may be. It is part of the whole. It is pointing to the same inner kingdom of the heart, of the deeper world of whom what we are. Okay. Beyond just the superficial representation of the conformity and the roles and the things that we play. We play along in the psychological drama called life, and we take on personas and characters, and we try to form ourselves into all kinds of reflections of what other people need us to be. Okay. We conform. We play the game. And until one day, we begin to go deeper. We begin to develop greater awarenesses of the self, of our heart, of our spirit, of our connection. That this connection of this cosmic heart that we are, of the spirit that we are. Okay, we are love. We are love. Love is the only thing that is real. Fear has created the illusion of this resistance, of this judgment, of this need to control everything. Why? Because we don't feel in charge of ourselves. Okay, so when we take back the position, the place, the seat of our soul, then we recognize, oh, yes, I am the one that is creating the charge, the energetic charge, or the transmission. Is it bringing life or is it bringing death? Well, through the transmission, we have shadow, we have aspect, we have trauma, we have inner children that have been wounded, felt abandoned, and all sorts of stories that we file away within our consciousness of the self. Okay, and then there is also the missed story, the story that has been missed, because you know the story that the world tells you is not the full story, is it? Because there's an inner world, is there not? Yes. So that is the path of flight. That is the inner map of that path of flight, of that inner rising within us. Okay. Where the birds take flight, the phoenix rises out of the ashes, and we go, holy shit, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to come into that form of personal power and development. Like, look at me, look how far I've come. That kind of, when we begin to track and take those things that we learn along the way. Okay, we're beginning to develop and to evolve within this within the inner cycles of this processing center that is deep within us, right? Okay. So we can't ignore it forever. That doesn't work. The more we resist things, the more we resist is the more that we fear something. And so the more we resist, the more that we fear something, the more we create it, because we're resisting it. So accept your fears and move on. Come into the greater love and higher awareness of this grace that, yes, our mind does that, has patterns of fear, because it thinks it's protecting itself, but it's not. It's actually just creating that which it's running from, until we go, okay, hang on, let's just take time out. Let's go down deep into our emotional underworld and let's find the better judgment that we need to make for ourselves, so that we're not going back and forth with our fears. We're not afraid of ourselves or afraid, of certain things. We don't allow for those defining moments within our lives to own parts of ourselves that we should be owning for ourselves. Okay. So that's called reclaiming the inner kingdom. Okay. And so Christ talked about the energetic laws of this inner kingdom. Everything he taught was about the living energetics of daily life, and of the inner world, of this inner kingdom, of the kingdom of this heaven that we are. We can come to the higher dimensions of consciousness, of this internal kingdom, this generating system of this energetic field, and these energetic forces that we have called thoughts, that they are embedded in them as images and all the sorts of things. So we're using our imagination all the time. It doesn't just get shut off once we hit a certain age. It's a part of our consciousness. And so learning to own what that consciousness is and our connection to it, yes, well, that's part of our haka. That's part of where we stand and where we rise. Because we are going to be faced with a position that will cause us either to resist or to rise. See, forget resisting back and forth and fearing everything and who's in control. Yeah, that just causes chaos and confusion. It's not very healthy for our mind. So we have to actually learn to cross over to, the better judgment of things. And when we embrace sort of all these parts of ourselves that past conditioning has taught us, no, suppress that, deny it, resist it. You should be afraid of that part of yourself, or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And so what happens is we get shut down inside, and we no longer have that innocent curiosity and exploration of our existence and of the how we identify with this presence of life inside of us, but also the presence of life that is in other people, because that's the energetic spiritual world that we live in. It's the world that we deny, it's the world that we suppress, it's the world that we go, oh no, we don't talk about feelings, or we don't talk about the journey, or cry or express parts of ourselves. Those parts of ourselves, you know, we have to build walls and tough exteriors so that no one ever sees that part of us. We lock it away in this deep prison cell, and it's calling out, hey, I don't like it down here. Come and rescue me. Hey, come back. Where did you go? And it's the inner child. Where did you go? And so your inner child is always like trying to get your attention through things. Sometimes your inner child feels scared or pissed off or whatever, all sorts of things. Okay. But instead of addressing the inner child, we often just believe it's someone else outside of us triggering us, and so we sort of project it's them doing this, because we have all these stories that we've developed from this inner child that's within us. Okay. And so sometimes that inner child's perspective is a bit distorted, or its beliefs are a bit assumed, or they may come from what people have accused you of when that's not really who you were, but then you took it on and you go, oh, okay, I'll integrate that, and you turned in on yourself, or you turned against yourself in some way. You became conflicted within yourself and between yourselves. And so and so that's actually that is where the mental illness is when we're conflicted within ourselves and between ourselves, because we're not in alignment with the true connection that we have to ourselves, because we don't believe that we can be that person fully without being punished, or being criticized, or being judged, or the resistance and things and people, right? So often that is a reflection of the resistance and the things that the way that you've learned to resist things within yourself. Okay. So we're kind of like generating all these different subconscious paradigms. Okay, they're not spoken out about as much, because we kind of like to keep, the inner emotional world and our personal thoughts and, private from other people. We don't want people like, reading our minds, or, picking up on all our feelings and things like that. That would be awkward, right? But isn't there a part of us that is designed to do that, to pick up on our own feelings and our own thoughts about things? Do you know what I mean? So is that seems to be, for me, a lot more of a healthy approach towards having a balance in terms of the mental landscapes that we have of reality. Okay. We have to begin to bring this inner world. We need to put it on display. We need to find all these deeper this tug of war that is within our soul. The spirit, the spiritual realms of the things that challenge us and test us and cause us to feel wounded inside and offended and upset and all these sorts of things. This world is where everything is coming from. Okay, in terms of the energetic world of our existence. thoughts and the way we're identifying ourselves and all those sorts of things. That's all running through our mind all the time. And so um, if we happen to stumble across something triggered within our mind that gets some kind of reaction out of us, then that's a good thing. It means you stumbled across something that you could explore more deeply and find out what's out of balance within you. Why are you getting so angry about that? Why, do you know what I mean? And when you walk that journey with yourself, you're realizing that there's deeper needs and things that need to be met within yourself. And so you complaining that those things aren't being met within your physical reflection of the life, that mirror of life reflection, it's because you haven't gone down and sort of adjusted your own inner map. Okay, because it's like when you begin to realize, oh, when I go down and I adjust the inner imprint of this inner map that is within me, okay, of how I'm choosing to perceive a situation, and you track it, that means that you change your thoughts, okay, and you change your perspective on something, okay, because that's what brings peace. It's the reframing and the renewal of your mind that allows you to let go of old energy that you were holding on to, like this. You had some form of attachment, and so there was some kind of wounding or something that kind of like knocked you out of balance, I suppose, along life's journey. Okay, you took a hit from someone said something mean or nasty in the schoolyard, and you took a hit, and from then on you made this vow to you never and then whenever this situation, you realize this mechanism comes online within you, that's called a pattern of fear and resistance and judgment, because of the way that you interpreted something, the interpretation and the meaning that you gave to something, okay, and the way that sits within you, okay, because it's like, oh, that's out of balance, okay. So soul work is going back into those awkward blooming triggers, because they are unbearable, uncomfortable kind of emotions and things you go through, and you think, I don't really want to be experiencing this, but if I allow myself to go down into the experience and just feel it, and just allow, and just to be still with my mind, and and just allow for myself to witness and observe what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and why, and where does that come from, and what is it that I believe is going on, and what do I fear, and what do I resist, and how am I judging this situation? Let's have a look at the judgment. Let's pull it apart, observe all those parts, those intricate details that your mind's created around something. And when you realize that, oh, I'm the greater awareness, and I'm the one that observes what the mind observes, the mind in its creation, okay. Or sometimes we have to say, no, mind, you're going off track, you're going down the track that you're getting distracted, they say. So you have to come back, and you have to focus on this path. You have to focus on this creation, and on what you're doing over here. Okay, so the mind gets distracted, and all sorts of things. But the mind is very powerful. So gaining back the reins of our own mind, it talks in the Bible about the rudder of the ship, right? That mind is directing us, and it is charging our body with the appropriate chemicals and hormones and things that we need within our system to function in accordance to what the mind is telling us, okay. So if we're unconscious, that means we're in fear, and we are in fear because we are creating illusions. We are not connected to the greater reality, that we are the one that is observing the mind and correcting the mind. Because Christ said, renew your mind, because that's what's going to cause the greatest transformation. Wise words, you know. And so I think soul growth and evolution begin to happen when we begin to take charge over the mind and go, now, that's enough of thinking like that. Okay. We're not going to punish ourselves or feel guilty for having feelings, or we're not going to run the same pattern and think that way now, are we? No, we're not. Now what do we need to do? And so we begin to sort of come in as the higher self, and we say, all right then, come on now, pull your socks up and dust yourself off. Yeah, we won't let that get us down now. We won't let that defeat us now, will we? Of course not. You know. So where is our path of flight? You know, what is it that we need to integrate? What is it that we need to own for ourselves and within ourselves? And how do we give that power back to ourselves? Because we only gave it away when we were hooked into the belief that someone else was able to take it away from us. They had that control over us. No, when we regain control over ourselves, that's when we are cooperating with the inner higher power. You see, that allows for us to do that. To be in control of the self. You can't be in control of the self if you're not aware of the self first. You see, so that's why spiritual path is a path of humility, because you have to be willing to look at the things you're doing to yourself. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy, you know. So you got to love your enemies, and because that's part of loving yourself. Yeah, and so yeah. It's an amazing journey. We always come back to grace, because grace is the place of non-judgment. It's where we realize, oh, we're all going around in these circles where we are where there's, you know, we're not taking accountability or owning things for ourselves, or being responsible. So we fall into patterns of blaming it on everyone, just so that we can justify ourselves in our own rut that we're in. And we're in that rut because we keep adopting that mentality. So if we want to actually be able to let go of mental structures that are just causing us to go round in circles and self-sabotage ourselves and all those sorts of things, because those are energetic patterns that belong to old wounds and old stories that are out of date. And so we have to sort of clear out the old files so that we can integrate new awareness of the self, and who we not so much who we were, but who we are now and who we shall become, because those are creations of the potential. The imagination needs to begin to move into what is your potential, what is it that you can create once you embrace the fullness of who you are. See, are we afraid of losing our power over ourselves, or are we afraid of owning the fullness of who we are? Either way, you know, we have to overcome the fear. See? Yeah. So fear is the test, it is the challenge, it is something that arises within us. And so oftentimes when you break beyond the fear, you go, oh, what was I afraid of? There's nothing there. You know? I I I have the ability to achieve that, but I spent all my time believing that I wasn't able to do it, all these sorts of things. Okay, so we get stuck in mental, you know, mentalities that are restrictive and limiting, and it's static. You know. So, you know, we want to clear those out. You know, that's kind of like a storm cloud in your energetic field, let's say. Clear that out. And you want to be able to tap into the deeper world of that potential of what you can create. Once you own the parts of you that everyone told you no. Well, not everyone. I can't say everyone, can I? That that you had through the grapevine. No, no, no. You're not allowed to own those parts of yourself. Well, who's going to own them for me then? If I don't know them, who's going to own them? Oh, true. Yeah. Um. So there's sort of, when it comes to the ownership of our own self-expression, you can see the war that began within us and between us over who owns that. The light of our higher power, or the fallen nature and fallen mind of the artificial power that we enlist because we forgot about the inner power of that higher system that is within us, that we are through that living principle, daily living principle, we can be in control of this creation of the self. Doesn't have to remain within the clutches of you don't have to continue to be the prisoner of that low vibrational existence. You can rise with your spirit. You can come out of those shadows and into the greater forms of light that you are. Mm. And that's the journey. That's the journey that we take out of the trauma and out of the darkness into the greater light. Okay, because that suffering is a part of our salvation. It actually, when we know how to accept that gift of suffering, it teaches us something really deep and profound, so that what we suffer is actually integrated into the salvation of something deeper within us, this balancing point, okay, of our suffering. It's revealing something that that was lost but is now found, something that we didn't see before but now we see it. See that? Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for being here. I'm just going to sing one more song and then we'll wrap this up. This is Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blinded, but now I see. God's grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace these fears release. How precious did this grace appear, how that I first believed, how that I first believed. Hour that I first believed, you would save a wretch like me, save a wretch like me, just save a wretch like me. that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blinded, but now I see. Yeah. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace this peace released. Oh, how precious did this grace appear, the hour that I first believed, hour that I first believed, hour that I first believed, hour that I first believed. Could you save a wretch like me? Save a wretch like me, yeah. Save a wretch like me, yeah. Gonna save a wretch like me. You're gonna save a wretch like me. You're gonna save a wretch like me. Amazing grace, sweet the sound that saves a wretch. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Separation once was lost, but now found. Hey, separation like me. You don't separate like me. You don't separate like me. I once was blind, but now I see. Yeah. I once was blind, but now I see. Yeah. I once was blind, but now I see. Yeah. 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 I once was blind, but now I see. I once was blind, but now I see. Yeah. I once was blind, but now I see. Hey. Hey. Thanks so much for being here. Blessings, love, light. Namaste.